Teacher Talking Sports, what it does, what it do, how we live. And I've been previewing each of the NBA playoff series as they occur, before they get started when we know what they are. And now we know what the NBA Finals will be. Game one won't tip off until Thursday between the Indiana Pacers, the fourth seed in the Eastern Conference, against the top-seeded Oklahoma City Thunder. Let's take a look at their offensive, defensive, and net ratings. Now, when I previously did these playoff series videos, I showed their regular season ratings. These are the postseason. As you see, both teams are 12-4. Pacers got through the first two rounds in 5, conference finals in 6. Meanwhile, the Thunder swept the opening round, were taken to 7 games by the Denver Nuggets, and beat the Minnesota Timberwolves in 5. You see, even though they have the same ranking, the same record in the postseason, Thunder have a much better net rating, although the Pacers are good. So, these ratings are out of the 16 playoff teams. And the Thunder had such a dominant defensive rating. We're like 2 points better than any team in the regular season. It's gotten even better in the postseason. Of course, the Pacers play with so much pace and one of the top offensive ratings as well. Numerous times they're going to, have fast break layups off a made shot. It's pretty incredible and something you don't often see. But these two teams met in the regular season twice, with the Thunder winning both games. And a guy who's really struggled against the Thunder, as we look at the starting lineups, is Tyrese Halliburton. I've read that in the last 4 games, so the last 2 years against the Thunder, he's averaging 12 points per game on, very, very not good efficiency at all. But these have been the starting lineups throughout the playoffs for both teams. SGA, after getting off to a slow start shooting-wise against the Grizzlies, has looked more like his MVP self. Jalen Williams, he had a narrative that he wasn't showing up to his full potential in the playoffs. That has quieted down considerably. Lou Dort struggled shooting the ball much of the playoffs, but has done better of late. And of course, he's such a defensive stopper. Chet Holmgren, Isaiah Hartenstein. I mean, they don't have a weak link in their defense, and it's going to definitely put pressure on the Pacers. When the playoffs started, it could have been argued that these were the 2 deepest teams in the playoffs. And, there are 2 teams that have reached the NBA Finals. Pascal Siakam, Eastern Conference Finals MVP, won it by 1 vote over Tyrese Halliburton. Nembhard struggled at times in the Knicks series, scoring the ball, but played much better in Game 6 and had, 6 steals. Nesmith, of course, had that magical Game 1 fourth quarter, and sprained his ankle in, Game 3 or Game 4, and hasn't quite looked the same since. Hasn't been playing as many minutes, but, still has played very well on the defensive end. And Miles Turner, doing Miles Turner things, a guy who spread 5 and, great shot blocker as well. As I mentioned, 2 of the deepest teams in the league. And the Pacers, so for all these, I always list 5 reserves for each team, even teams that weren't playing 10 guys deep. Both of these teams mostly do go 10 deep. Jarris Walker had been getting minutes for the Pacers, but sprained his ankle last night. Was pretty severe, was on crutches. Who knows his availability for this series? But Thomas Bryant, man, was he huge for the Pacers in Game 6. After some of his minutes were going to Tony Bryant, to help keep Mitchell Robinson off the offensive glass. Benedict Mathurin really struggled for much of that Knicks series, at least the first 3 games. Games 4 and 5 really showed out. TJ McConnell, just a guy who lives in the lane, penetrating, always finds a way to get into the teeth of the defense. Obi Toppin, just a bowl of energy. And really is played improved defense. Ben Shepherd, can't leave him open from three. Thunder, of course, I mentioned how superb their defense is, and they don't have a weak link on the starting lineup. The closest thing to a weak link on the bench, maybe Aaron Wiggins, Isaiah Joe, but they're definitely not negative defenders, and the top two are definitely, Alex Caruso has been an all-defensive guy. Probably would have made a team this year had he made enough games. Kason Wallace, definitely a guy who can make one in the future. Now, the fifth guy listed, Kenrich Williams, who was mostly out of the rotation the first two rounds, but Mark Dejanol played him in that Western Conference Finals over Jalen Williams, who's not listed. I mean, Jalen Williams is a guy who had a few triple-doubles to end the season with guys like Hartenstein and Holmgren out, where he was starting for the Thunder. So again, two teams that are going 10 deep. I mean, AJ Mitchell really isn't even in the rotation when he looked like he could be an all-rookie guy before getting hurt. So both teams are able to keep their starters fresh, go 10 deep. Not necessarily something you often see in the playoffs, but these two teams have done it, and done it incredibly, as they're both in the NBA Finals. So I'm going to take a look at DraftKings Sportsbook. I know the Thunder are heavy favorites. Let's see if it changed since I last looked. So according to DraftKings Sportsbook, the Thunder are minus 700 favorites in the NBA Finals. The Indiana Pacers plus 500. That reminds me of the West, in the Duncan and Shaq days when they were playing the East, where they were heavy favorites. Whether it was against the New Jersey Nets, Lakers versus Pacers, Lakers versus Sixers, where the West team just looked clearly superior. The West team looked clearly superior to the East team. And on paper, that's what it looks like. You definitely can't, just shoo away the Pacers and say they have no chance. I mean, they have been awesome in the postseason. But the Thunder just have so many guys to put on Halliburton. We saw, at least in Game 5, where the Knicks really made life difficult for him. I mean, the Thunder could probably do it on a nightly basis. This series will go longer. Conference finals are every other day. I mean, this series goes from Thursday to Sunday to Wednesday, then a 2-day period. Then 3 days off, and Game 7 also 3 days off. 2 days off. The only games where there's just one day off is between Game 3 and Game 4. But in the end, I always give my prediction. I don't want to discount the Pacers. What they have done is incredible. Nobody counted on them. They had, I think, tied for the 6th best odds entering the season to win the East, and lo and behold, they did. But I'm going to go the Thunder in 5. Highest point differential in NBA history in the regular season, 68-14 record. Really made life miserable for Anthony Edwards in that Western Conference Finals, and I expect him to do more of the same for Halliburton. Things won't be easy for Siakam going against Holmgren and Hartenstein in the middle. But let me know in the comments, who do you think is going to be the 2025 NBA champions? Anyhow, don't forget to subscribe. Tell a friend to subscribe. Like the video, share the video, hit the bell for notifications. I'm out.